Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are joined now by Millionaire Williams. Excited to have her here from Effectua Life Coaching from Forney, Texas, but helping people all over the world with her coaching skills and so much more. Her retreats, you name it, she does it. She's here with us live today on the show. How are you?
I am phenomenal. There's the only way to be in life. That's all I know, and I don't want to know anything else.
I love it. Pleasure to have you here. Welcome. Effectua Life Coaching. You say the coach that produces results, and you're here with us today. Would love to get to know you. Got to point out you are a certified life coach, personal coach, specialist in self-care retreats. Also, you are a world-renowned speaker, career counselor, captured audience of women and young girls. You've been awarded with many awards, and a Paradigm 360 accelerated coach trainer, ACT. So we got it so much to talk about. Let me have you introduce yourself, sweetheart. Thank you.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here to share with the global world what I have to offer and what I love to do. Life coaching is my passion. As a child, I used to always wonder, what is it that makes human behavior do what we do? Why we do it, when we do it, how we do it, all of the above. So I've just always been on a journey, lifelong journey, searching out. I'm psychology major. So life coaching, is what we call in the psychology field, the positive side of psychology versus on the other side for therapy and counseling and that kind of nature. But I'm a mental health coach as well. So I've been trained to do a lot of that as well. And I tell you, I just love seeing, knowing, being alongside people to help them navigate life, because life is like, wow, today, there are a lot of things going on for people, and we have a whole new world, a whole new narrative. So, creating programs that help people get from point A to point B. And, when I see the lights come on, it's the gratification that I get. I know I'm living my true DNA biologicals.
Beautiful. Well, we are excited to have you here. I think it's important for us to actually get to know you a little bit first, if you don't mind. Tell us where you grew up, what brought you here, how did you decide to become a coach? And by the way, let's point out the website. How can people reach you?
Yes, and it's a tricky website, so I got to be careful with it. It's Effectual Life Coaching. It's E as in Edward, F as in Frank, ECTUALIFE coaching.com. A lot of people do the Effectual Life with 2 L's, so it gets a little wonky, and I always like to streamline that for the audience. And what brought me to coaching? Well, it actually goes back to, I'm also an author. I authored my first book back in 2018. My son actually joined the Marine Corps. And at that time, we were not in active war, but what winded up happening, 9/11 happened. He went over to Iraq. He comes back after 9 months and have this huge celebration for him, family, friends, about 50 people at a restaurant. We're having a phenomenal time. I'm in the restroom with my girlfriend, and she's like, Million, have you seen Jerome's eyes? And I'm like, his eyes? What do you mean? My son is back from war. He's got all his body parts. And she's like, yeah, but you need to look in your son's eyes. There's something going on that I'm a little concerned about. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. So I've always called him Champion. He's my oldest son. I've got 3. And so I go out, I give him a hug. Mom's a huggy feely. I'm like, Champion, give Mom a hug. And Jill, I look in his eyes, and when I tell you the devastation that hit me is beyond descriptives, because I never knew what PTSD was at that time. And back then, we in America, we really weren't hearing the term PTSD for what we know it is today. Now it's a household term. We know, you may not know that it's post-traumatic stress disorder, but people certainly have heard of PTSD as an acronym. And he had a full mental breakdown 6 weeks after he got out. So that began our journey. And I've always been a documenter, so I just started documenting everything. I was over at the base, at the Marine Corps base, which is in Jacksonville, North Carolina, which is the largest amphibious base in the world. So imagine this big place. Wow. It's like a planet within its own orbit. And I'm over there trying to get him help. And they didn't even know what PTSD I'm talking with. It started, I mean, it just still was like something in the psychology world. No one else was outside kind of dealing with back in that time. So what winds up happening, move the story forward, I documented everything. And one day it came to me, I'm like, I need to write a book and tell
Mm,
this story.
yeah.
And I did. And the title of the book is Military Mom on a Mission and Advocate for Mental Health. And at the time, I was a vice president of a chamber of commerce in Jacksonville, Nassau County, there in North Carolina. And I was going back to school, getting my degree in entrepreneurship. However, because of what my son dealt with, I changed it to psychology so I could really come alongside him and help navigate this process. And then it just turned into, okay, I need to make life coaching my field. I need to really get out there in the world and help people. And if you could see my son today, if he was beside me, you'd be like, no, you must have another son that went through what you're telling me, because this can't be the real person that went through. But through my navigation and, learning how to relanguage myself and talk with my son, and having an understanding of learning what I had to learn through this disorder with him, it helped me really penetrate the world of life coaching and a whole nother methodology. So I am all about, like I said, producing results.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is, that's why it's called effectual, because it's got to be effective.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, why do my clients need me? If
Yeah.
I'm not producing results and they don't see the results in their lives, and I have a lot of measurements involved, I've got a litmus self-test that they can take. There's all kind of things that I've had just a great time creating and helping my clients come through. And Jill, I know I can talk really, sometimes you got to stop me in the interview. So if you
No,
need to,
you're on a roll. I
I,
this
I know, I keep going, but there's one thing that I have to read really quickly. And this is from one of my clients who these testimonials, because, testimonials tell, I can sit here and say, I do this, I do that, but a testimonial is a true test of who you are in your business, in your career, in your field. And it reads this: I like to always reflect on one of my past clients by the name of Deborah E. of Long Beach, California. And she stated, Millionaire Williams is a life-size phenomena with the creative ability to expose the giants in your life as the minuscule, temporary obstacles they are. Another one, helping people to shift the paradigm mindset and evolve to a higher platform of understanding the unique abilities that lay dormant in the human soul. I am an activator that helps to ignite the flame that is waiting to be set free. Yes,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
one. Yeah,
Wow. Well, we are so excited to have you here, and you're clearly passionate about helping so many people as a coach. We got to remind everyone, effectualifecoaching.com. Also, you can pick up a copy of her book. Let's just, people might say, well, what do I need a coach for? Well, there's plenty of things. Can you elaborate? I mean, there's a lot, but it can maybe empathize with someone who's listening at home, the types of things that you can work on. Because people say, well, how is it different than a mental health counselor compared to a coach? Could you share a little bit about that?
absolutely. So I've actually, I'm one of those people that I put myself in this unique kind of orbit, so to say. And the reason that I say that, because marketing gurus will tell you,
Mm-hmm.
you got to do one thing and be real good at that. But my brain cells are not wired that way. So when I say that, I've had clients that I've helped that have been teenagers where they've had some challenges with school, with home, with their self-confidence, how they perceive themselves. And everything in life, really, from my perspective, really goes back to helping an individual change mindset, because
Yeah.
mindset is everything in life. Uh, you know, and what you have to understand, once you get a hold of your personal power that you possess, and I believe every human being has it. I just think what happens to people along life's paths is that trauma, situations, experiences, external voices, and sometimes internal voices,
Mm-hmm.
we get a very negative viewpoint of
Yep.
self.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
I help people understand
Mm-hmm.
every human being born to life, there are some unique gifts and qualities that lay dormant in you. No one has ever come along and
Yep.
challenged those
Yep.
places in you. And the
Yep.
thing and the beauty about a coach is that we come up with questions that maybe no one else has ever asked you. So you've never pondered that thought. It's almost like putting you into new territory and having you come out with this evolved person that you may not have even thought you'd ever reach. You never thought you'd get to. But to
Mm-hmm.
see the look on my clients' faces when they have been able to move forward and beyond areas of their lives that they never thought they'd ever reach. So I believe in the human spirit
Yeah.
so wholeheartedly. And to come alongside that human being and help navigate that process, it is an honor and a privilege that I carry so deeply. And I don't want to start the crying, but I get very emotional because that to me is a beauty of life,
Yeah.
of living here and being a contributor to life where people get to live a better and a wholesome life. I mean, I'm like,
Yeah.
if you're breathing oxygen, come on, let's get it going.
Well, I say, the one good thing to come out of the pandemic and COVID, which was so horrific, let's not take that for granted. A lot of
Right.
loss, a lot of
Yes.
loss of life, of jobs. There's a
Yes.
lot, but it also kind of kicked us in the butt and says, wow, this could happen to us here in America, around the world. Like, uh,
Yes.
what? We
Yeah.
better start living our best life now. And it kind of lit the fire, I think, under a lot of us. Some, still struggling. And we all need
Yes.
our guidance, but it makes like I have a 6 and 8 year old, and I'm like, what am I doing? I work, work, work. I need more time with them. How am I going to do it? I want to travel, all these things I want to do. And it's like, now is the time. At least this kind of lit a fire and made me
Yes.
want to live my best life, because you never know if today is your last day.
You don't.
God bless you don't know what's in store for us all. So why not try to live our best life and do everything we want to do physically while we're here? Because, we don't know our timeline. It could be tomorrow. It
We
could be,
don't.
yeah,
We don't. And life is very fragile, I tell people.
yeah,
But we treat it as if, oh, we're going to be here forever.
yeah,
And not that you need to live a doom and gloom life, but as you stated, live your best life. Wake up to that. Understand that. You have the right to live your best life. I tell people I wouldn't trade my shoes for another human being on the face of this planet. I love living millions life.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what? Not everybody does love their life. How many
They
people
don't.
do you talk to that you meet? And, my mother, unfortunately, she's passed now, 6 years from lung cancer, but she was always a Debbie Downer. I'd call her name is Michelle, but I called her Negative Nancy. Right. And doom and gloom. Every time you talk to her, it was, and I try to inspire her all the time. I'm just naturally a positive person, probably because I grew up in a household that was so negative, but everyone,
Right,
trust me,
right.
I'm not, I got my own issues. We all do. But it's like, that's the one thing I always told my mom. I wanted her to experience things, live her best life, and she never could. And I couldn't change that for her. One regret I have.
Yes,
But, I tried my best, but it makes you realize like all those things she missed out on,
yes,
it just that she never did. And because she
yes,
was scared, she was fearful. And a lot of us are stuck in that fearful
yes,
mode, right?
yes, yes. And the thing is to see something different is the key.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can't see it different, you can't do different.
Yeah.
And understanding what are the triggers for people
Yeah.
and getting to those places and navigating within the human trail that goes within. Because I also have, some of my clients go, well, actually all of my clients, when they first see me, uh, I look at areas of their lives. I have it separated. There's the positive and the negative. So the positive, 1 through 5, if you can remember some positive things that happen in your life,
Mm-hmm.
6 through 11. And I go through all the years and then I look at the negative side that maybe some challenges and traumas. And oftentimes, Jill, it is that place a person is stuck, maybe at 10 years of age, when something traumatic happened. They never got over it. Chronologically, they kept developing and kept moving on. But within, you see it's this human being, an adult. But guess what? They're still living a 10-year-old life because that trauma plagued them so bad, so deep within, it caused them to never move and never shift. And so going back to some of those places, and I make it lightweight as much as I can. Do you know what I mean? To help them, and sometimes having them to see themselves outside of themselves. There's just a lot of techniques, that you can incorporate to help people make the shifts. And not everything works for everyone. So you've got to, really take an account of the things that have occurred in your client's life, what it is they want to change, where they want to go, and help them to set some active goals. And accountability is like hands down numero uno, because when we're held accountable and that coach is going to be, okay, Deborah, did we accomplish what we agreed upon from last week? And we go through that. And with my clients, they all have a personal folder. So when I sit with them, they get all the updates of conversations that we've talked with, so they can go back and figure out, okay, I have to get this done. I've got to get this done. And, and they can call me along the path to see if something has changed or something else comes up. I just want to see people live. I just want to see it so desperately.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for your passion, for your dedication to being here and to wanting to help people. Let's remind them of how we can reach out to you, phone number, website, any form of contact, and we'll continue the
Yes, my
conversation.
phone number is area code 661-341-0730. And my email is million@effectuallifecoaching.com. And again, I got to put that little caveat in there. It's MILLION, just like $1 million. So you can't forget my name. Million@effectuallifecoaching.com. That's EFFECTUALIFE coaching.com. And the website is effectuallifecoaching.com as well. So call me. I'll wait to hear from you. Let's get your journey moving. Let's get you to that best life, and let's do this.
Anything today that you can give us a tip to really establish that millionaire mindset?
Yes, I will, because Jill, I have to share with you. I've authored a number of books, and another one of my books is called Mental Health is Mental Wealth. And it's on Amazon along on my website as well. But I also came up with what's called Millionism Series, and I've trademarked that. And the first book that goes along with the Millionism Series is Bold Quotes to Live By.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So the series is a 3-part series. And the second book is Thought-Provoking Questions That Change the Trajectory of Your Life. And the third one, Jill, these are just my demo books, is Declaration Manifestos to Ignite Change. So, those are some pretty awesome. But one of my favorites, and how this got started, because I was on the phone with a girlfriend of mine one day, and we've all heard, is your glass half full or is it half empty? So I was saying to her, my glass is never half full, nor is it half empty. She's like, well, where's your glass? So this was a quote that I came up with. So this is what ignited these books. I sat at the computer one day and I'm like, okay, Million, all this creative intelligence you have, you've got your own quotes. You don't need to do somebody else's quotes. So what I did, I took that one, Jill.
Wow.
It says, my glass is never half full, nor is it half empty. It is always overflowing.
Wow.
So, Jill, also, I want to send you one of those. So, after all of this, I need to get your address because I need one to
Thank
sit in
you.
your office to let you know that your glass is always overflowing.
Thank you. That is beautiful. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Really, your positivity just emanates here. If you're on the Zoomcast, if you're on the podcast listening, again, it's Millionaire Williams we're talking to here, world-renowned life coach, and she really is. Look how happy she is. But, and she shared her struggles and her son, and, we've all been through something. Uh,
Yes.
and it just makes you want to live your best life. Why not? What else did you have in mind first? We still have 5 minutes left in the show. So,
Oh, you didn't even
yeah,
tell me.
yeah, I didn't know. 4 minutes. Okay. So,
Oh,
okay, what else do you want to get in for the last 4 minutes? And I can't wait to have you back. But what else do you think is
well,
important for us to know about you? And
also, I have developed, if you go to my website and under the URL under this community programs. So over
Mhm.
the years, and also my past life, I was a county commissioner back in North Carolina. And when I left office, I wanted to leave what I call my legacy footprint without the other commissioners, so to say.
Mhm.
And I came up with a program that was titled Law Enforcement and Youth Summit.
Mm.
So I created that when I was there in North Carolina. We lived in California for a while because the kids are there. So we lived there about 4 years ago, and now we're here in Texas at this beautiful home built. So I've now had that program instituted in California as well.
Wow.
And now I'm working with the chief of police, the sheriff's department, the school district, and we're getting it involved here. And when I tell you, with our country, the things that we've got going on, we've got to change these narratives in our communities throughout our country. And I'm so proud of that program that I created. And also another one I've created is called the Inverted Internship Program when I was at the Chamber of Commerce. Basically what that is, because most of the times when there's interns that come on the job, they're learning from the business owner, the entrepreneur, or the
Mhm.
company. So I inverted that internship program because I saw it while I was there at the chamber. Small businesses were struggling
Mhm.
with social media, with getting all that platform together, getting their marketing, and these kids in high school,
Wow.
brilliant
Mhm.
experts at it. So I paired the schools that had these great programs with the small business owners at the chamber. And when I tell you, oh my God. So I am telling you, I'm like this creative monster that just keeps going and never stops. Okay. So
Mhm.
if you go to my website, you'll see other programs that I've developed for the community as well. So aside from
Mm.
just one-on-one clients and groups, I've gone into major companies. I've done some work with American Express. I mean, I could go on and on and on,
Wow.
but I love life and I
Clearly.
love seeing people live their best life.
Well, thank you. And it's a pleasure having you here, getting to know you, to meet you, and looking forward to working with you in the future. Are we back again next week or 2 weeks or?
Yes,
Okay, good.
yes,
I can't wait. You got, well, another great conversation and looking forward to that. Millionaire Williams, remind us again how we can reach you.
yes. Contact me. Phone number 661-341-0730. And I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Millionaire Williams. And I also have what's called Millionaire Mindset Program, Jill. So
Yeah.
we've been talking about that. So, and then the website is www.effectuallifecoaching.com. Call me, contact me. Let's transform your life. Let's win. Okay. I need you to win. And you do too.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to our next time together. You have a fantastic day. To all of our
You do the
listeners and viewers,
same.
stay tuned. More of the show is on the way.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.